now we are here. And so allow yourself to um, simply make yourself comfortable, welcoming the body the way that you may be sitting or laying, whatever that may be, that you can feel that we say, welcome, body, welcome, welcome, body. Very gently, you may want to softly, with your hands, welcoming the legs, the seat that is um, allowing us to sit, the back, everything, just really allowing, welcoming, whatever, for a comfortable position here. And as we do so, that we will have um, a bit of teaching for a moment, and then from there, we'll go into meditation, and then if anybody has any questions or sharings, you can do so in the comments, or if somebody wants to do so more in private on Zoom. And if you end up being on Zoom, then we might end up closing the YouTube live and then go from there, where there's an opportunity for a more private space. But for now, as we begin today's meditation, mm, oh yes, it seems like everything's here. Great. And so just making sure that everything is working. And so today's meditation um, is focused on how the power of being able to slow down, yes, the power to slow down helps us be able to presence. And in that sense of presence, then we can feel supported. Yes. And so, in a way, slowing down in life can often feel like the last thing that we want to do in our go life. And so that, for example, there can be a sense of, oh, my stress is happening because I have not done this and this and this. And and in a way, part of what is actually happening a lot of the time is, yes, there's something to do, but it's because we have this attachment to that. We have a strong attachment of this needs to happen and I can't let it go. And then what we don't realize is that it's because it's very good to do things in life, and yes, certain things need to get done, obviously. But when it is that we are like, this needs to happen, then there is tension. And we're doing it from a place of tension. And and so then you can imagine that this structure here is like, this needs to happen. It goes like that. And that intensity of that structure actually is the ground from which we are acting. Yes. And so I would say you can look in your life and see that there are times in your life when you were active times in your life when you were active, and at the end of it, you may have been somewhat physically tired from the intense activity, if it was very intense, or not, but that psychologically and emotionally and mentally, that you ended up feeling refreshed after doing that. And it's like, huh. After I did a lot of work, I felt refreshed. But there might be moments where you realize, oh my goodness, I that was like that. And then you might notice other moments in your life in which you did a lot of things, and even though, for example, there wasn't a sense of um, a uh, tiredness at the level of the physicality, that the body may be some aches because you've sat for a very long time, but that is like a lot of effort for the body to stay in one position for a very long time, that you notice that you're very tired mentally. It's kind of like this sluggishness, the sense. And it's like, why? Why that time like this and why the other time I actually felt very refreshed? And part of what I want to highlight here is that it is the underlying form, the underlying shape from which we do. See, I could be guiding this whole process from a place where I'm more tense and I'm talking to you all, but I'm tense. And then at the end of it, I'm going to be very tired, and it's going to be difficult. But I can also be coming from a place where I am relaxed. Yeah. And in the relaxation, part of what it is that um, is important in a way that's connected here is that I am allowing myself to be myself. I'm allowing my thoughts to be here as they are. I'm allowing my feelings to be here as they are. I'm allowing my body to be here as it is. If I am trying to make sure that my body is a certain way or whatever it is, same thing. It's because there's an underlying structure that's trying to force something to happen a certain one way or another. So, what can we do about this? Well, you might notice that it's hard to even come to a sense of awareness about what it is there, where it is that the tension might be, specifically when we continue moving at the pace that we are when the tension is there. And that the one thing that might help you is to slow down. I slow down. And in the slowing down, something beautiful happens. And one beautiful thing that happens there is that the attention, the quality of the attention that happens when we slow down has special powers. And this is where slowing down can bring relief versus if it's slowing down, that's just shutting down, a kind of sloth energy, a numbness that's just dissociating, then shutting down might bring some temporary sedation relief, but it will also create more stress when you come out of the sedation of the doom scrolling or whatever it may be. You leave on the other side with a sense of more dread or a sense of stress. Now, this kind of slowing down that I'm talking about is a slowing down where I am allowing for the awareness, the witness part of me that can witness here, for that to be here more and more. On the one hand, with a sense of I'm aware of what it is that is happening a little bit more and more, like this curious investigator. And I'm also befriending what's here. See, I may not like some parts of how I feel right now today, this morning for me, whatever time it is for you, but this moment, I may not like certain things, certain qualities of how my body feels or how I feel emotionally. When I'm curious about it, then there's a way in which I am looking at it. And it's like it's here, and then I'm looking at it. And my attention and my curiosity is coming from a specific, like with a specific tone. I might be going like, or, hmm, or, hmm, or maybe, hmm, or, you know, it's like, what is the quality of the attention that we're bringing to ourselves? Yeah, here, for example, in meditation, but also in our lives. Yeah. And what I am trying to shine a light on here is that when we allow ourselves to come from a place that is actually curious, not just I'm doing the chore of meditating, yeah, but there's a softening to the one who's looking. The one who's looking is not going like, but it's kind of like soft and real also. This is not about becoming some kind of like make sure that you look a certain way or that you are. No, no, no. This is about being genuinely you, genuine curiosity, as you are. And that so much so that when you get to even look, the eyes here that end up looking over here, when this is seen, that this is feeling included in a way, befriended. Imagine that it's a little bit resentful, a little groggy, or a little, I don't know, tense. If you're tense in your life, how would you like to be approached? In a direct, quick way? You know, no, maybe we want to do it in a way where there's gentle, but real also. Don't want to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like somebody reacts like that, and it's kind of like a little bit too much, like so just very gently but real. That I see whatever shape is here. Yeah. And so this, whatever it is that's happening in the body, what's happening emotionally, what's happening in the mind. Yeah. And that little by little, as we soften and are able to approach from this slowness, then what ends up happening is that there's a meeting. Yeah. Very similar, analogous to imagine that you have a little bit of tension in the shoulder. Yeah. And that this hand could just very gently simply rest in a way where the hand is aware of what it's touching. It's curious. I can feel my clavicle a little bit, my shoulder, you know, whatever is here. This part's a little softer here, just very gently. And as I'm feeling here, I can feel that if I'm doing it too much or too strong, the shoulder itself starts to push back a little bit or just try to stay put. But if I do it just softly and gently, but also real and present, even kind of like, can be sometimes like a weighted blanket feeling, can feel very nice. And that right there, yeah, right there. It's like a little bit of dropping, you know? It's a similar kind of feeling, just anywhere, it's like just a resting hand, kind of like when somebody puts a hand on your back, but that it feels good in that way. Our mind and our heart, in a way, the attention that is of our consciousness, yeah, is like a hand that goes and approach. And so here we will basically explore a little bit in this meditation about how we can bring a gentle, curious awareness with whatever it is that's here that can allow whatever is here to be included. And one of the powers that is here is the power to help more of life feel welcome, to help life be more included, and to help life feel more permission, kind of like after a good massage, to be here. In the process, when life is more here, and actually more here, and here I'm talking about at the level of your thoughts, the level of your feelings, yeah, and your physical body. When life is more here, then it's more amicable. Yeah. And so there's this befriending quality, and even this possibility where it's like, as we soften, I get to know you more as you are. It's like heart, I start to get to know with that curiosity. And with that curiosity there, oh, hi. It's even kind of sweet, you know? It can feel kind of sweet. And so, oh, hi. And as that curiosity's there, it's like, oh, I could even sense a little bit how I want to love you. A little bit. Very gently. It's love. And so today's meditation is connected to this, the powers of slowing down and this curious, loving awareness. Yeah. That we can nurture and develop. And so allow yourself here to take a few deep breaths. Yeah. To welcome yourself. And you see, just to welcome ourselves just as we are a little bit. And um, seeing if there's anything else I want to say about this. Seems, yes, well, right there, you might notice whenever it is that you do meet from that soft curiosity, there's a potential for a beautiful intimacy. Yeah. And right there, when there's beautiful intimacy, if you go a little bit deeper, something that you can discover here is that you can look just as if you, for example, you really like a piece of art, like an art piece or something. If you just look at it and look away, you know, or you're looking at it, but you're not really looking at it, nothing much happens. But if you really look at it and you start to see the details that are there, you know, it's like I start to see all the details. There's something that can happen where beauty, beauty can be found. Even, for example, you know, I can even look at my face right now and how I learned in my own upbringing, you know, and everything, there can be residues that we look at ourselves and we look and we're like, oh, look at that right there and this. And, you know, like when I was growing up, there was this culture of like, oh, you shouldn't have birthmarks, you know? Birthmarks are not good, you know, like these kinds of things. And oh no, another one appeared, you know, and now I have like many birthmarks. Um, and and so this way of looking, you know, that when we soften in this particular way, all of those places where we're used to not welcoming, all whatever is here, you know, this just as it is, you know, just how it looks, etc., can suddenly there can be a sense of discovering beauty. And so right there, I'm mentioning this because it's really powerful. Even as you're sensing inside yourself, you can do this in relationship to sensations, in relationship to thoughts, even very mundane thoughts. Yeah. Existence is a mystery. Existence is a wonder. Existence is a miracle. when we slow down and we're able to be very curious, you can get to know whatever you're looking at in such presence that you start to discover it rather than looking at it as, oh, that's a wall. Yeah, it's like that right there's a wall. If I slow down and start really looking at it, I can let myself be taken by the color. I can let myself be taken by the very texture that is there. And I can see, and here, if I were to put words, something as simple as a wall. The way the colors are showing, it's this beautiful, like mint-like color. Yeah. And it's like an ocean or like a sky. There's this sense of this beautiful sky that is here. Yeah. And so there's a generosity with which I see the color is shown. I see in the wall. Yeah. There's this color, and it just so generously shows itself just as it is, just showing this beautiful, like light green. It's probably not a light green, but it's showing like that, at least on the video. I look like this. It's more like a beige, but that's what I'm seeing, at least here. And it's this, and so there's also, because of the consistency, there's a sense of a continuousness and a sense of a peace. Yeah. So when you practice slowing down like this, you can learn to read life anew. You can learn to read yourself anew. And with this quality of humility, of curiosity, of seeing things as new, humility, yeah, curiosity, and then being able to know how to gently approach, and sense and feel and let yourself feel, kind of like, I'm looking at it. What does it feel like? And I really, part of what's the opportunities that become present here are almost like synesthesia. Yes, if you've heard this word. I let myself see the colors of the sensation. I let myself hear the sound that I hear when I feel the body sensation. The texture has like a sound to it. Yeah. The wall has the way it looks, the visuals have a smell. You let your senses become more alive, and you let yourself surrender separateness. Once you really slow down, that's where it goes to. You can surrender separateness with whatever's there, and that right there is the gateway to feeling the oneness through surrendering separateness. That whatever you're looking at, I'm looking at it so presently that the shape of my eye or my nose or whatever it is, I am the nose. And I know how it can sound a little weird, but I am whatever it is, and I let myself feel it. Yeah. As I see my nose the way that it is right there, I can have different kinds of thoughts, but I just let myself feel it intensely. And it's in that intensity that's curious and present that life can be relaxed, welcomed, included, discovered. There can be a sense of beauty there and a ton of resource in this way. Yeah. So that's the other thing I wanted to say. Go a little bit longer here. Um, and there through surrendering. And so there now, to be able to really surrender, you have to let yourself feel, not just think about what it is to allow you to realize that the thought that I'm having of like the oceanic nature, yeah, for example, there's this thought of the oceanic nature of the wall. I let myself feel oceanic. And that's how the surrendering can happen, and the intimacy can happen. Yeah. So just like that. Okay. So, a little bit of a longer um, lecture today, but let's settle down. Let's settle down and allow yourself to simply include. I'm going to take a sip of water here. And as we settle in, taking a few deep breaths to find a comfortable position, welcoming, 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 welcoming. Yeah. And so now I'm going to include um, a one moment here. Yeah. Um, see a little poem here. Um, no, seems like not now. Um, for yes, no, here. Okay. A poem here by Mark Nepo. Mm, And we begin. So let yourself close your eyes or just let yourself take in the words very gently. And we begin. In life, as in water, when we curl up or flail, we sink. When we spread and go still, we are carried by the largest sea of all, the sea of grace that flows steadily beneath the turmoil of events. And just as fish can't see the ocean they live in, we can't quite see the spirit that sustains us. We gently allow for the slowing down and begin our meditation. Allowing the breath to help you find the natural pace, the natural ebb and flowing pace of your being. allowing yourself to be connected here with the breath in such a way that the mind becomes curious and more curious about the texture of the breath, the quality of when the breath in the inhale starts and the inhale ends. And there might be a short pause, even if it's very short, and then an inhale, an exhale, sorry. And there you follow the inhale and the exhale, curious about the endings and the beginnings, the continuous flow that is here, ending and beginning and ending and beginning, and becoming especially curious about the brief, ever so brief space that is between the inhale and the exhale, and between the exhale and the inhale. Even if you prolong it a tiny little bit, there's a quiet, there's a silence that is inside that pause. And we allow the softness of the mind and the slowness of this moment to include the texture of that silence, staying in touch with the pauses, allowing the breath to have its own natural shape. If it helps to stay focused, you may wish to ride the breath with a conscious little guidance of inhale, pause, exhale, pause. No right or wrong length of breath or pause. And allowing as this curiosity with the breath sustains, allowing for the attention to include the sensations in the center of the chest, the heart. Very gently noticing the inhale and exhale sensations in the center of the chest. Allowing the mind to rest in the heart. Curious about the pauses, the texture of them, and curious about letting go in that pause. like you can really let go into feeling that you are part of that silence, that part of that pause. Little by little, gently accepting and including, however comfortable or uncomfortable, we learn to soften and include. And so you may follow this path of allowing the focus on the pauses to bring you into the resting here in the moment, more and more. And in that softening of resting, you may notice that you can include the body that is you more. From that resting pause, without having to do anything, we're just letting life be. No need to get rid of anything. If you find yourself focusing on something that is too uncomfortable, you can allow yourself to shift your attention to focus on some part of your body that feels more comfortable or neutral. That peace, that comfort is part of the necessary ground. The slowness and the intimacy. Just by being. A natural surrendering of separateness, where you let yourself feel the ocean that you are in all of the time, the ocean that you are a part of. Through all of existence. If the mind is active, trying to do, you may give it the task of becoming curious about the pauses, about the breath, how it starts, how it ends, and pause, and how it starts and it ends, and pause. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. If the thoughts continue and this does not work, you can allow yourself to simply slow down and look at the thought. Curious about the textures and the colors, the image, the words, and allowing a dropping to include body sensations. The present moment in the body includes whatever thoughts may be here to help them slow down. So more of you is here, just looking, just feeling. The doing that learns that it is safe, that it is nice to be. The eye that feels everything it places its attention on. Slow down, alert, awake. The wonder of life. Completely new every moment. Being open to being surprised. Gently allowing for the breath, the inhale and the exhale, to be like waves inside of this beautiful ocean of being, bringing awareness to the body as it is, allowing for a moment here of inviting the presence that is here to simply this peace that we have nurtured, to simply send a wish for this kind of peace, this love. We can send that to ourselves for the rest of our day or our evening, wherever we may be. And also to include our friends, lovers, and to include the city, the town, wherever we may be. Simply like an essence of peace, love. Include. And our world. Imagining, feeling our world with all its dimensions. Sending peace and love for the world, the physical world that is all of the human world. The beings. And then also a breath of gratitude and a bow of gratitude to existence that is all of nature, all of the cosmos, and this beautiful earth that holds us, supports us. Allowing for the softness, for the slowness to continue as we come towards a close of today's meditation. As you may open your eyes and come deeper into the body to allow for the soft inclusion of seeing things anew. Whatever you're seeing, curious, soft, including. And then as we arrive here, that you're welcome to share any reflections of your experience in the comments. Any questions, and I'm happy to be here to include part of your experience. If you wish, you're very welcome to. Yes. Any reflections of your experience, or questions or sharings? Yes. Mhm. Okay. So, as we come towards a close, then, um, thank you for coming and for participating. This is precious sizing of life. As it's part of the flavor here. And if you see this, whenever you see this, that it's still in about 5 days, next Wednesday, if you happen to be in the Pacific Northwest, I am facilitating a drama therapy workshop where we will be using in person in White Salmon, Washington. And you can find information about that at my website, adrianlove.com. You can go there and see the in-person workshop that is there. Or if you want to share it with anybody that is in the near Portland area or the Pacific Northwest area, or maybe close enough to White Salmon, Washington. And drama therapy, the use of theater tools as a means of being able to heal and to connect with life, to be free, to express, to become the person who you want to be. And I will also be offering a version of this online in the near future, likely. And so if you wish to be connected to that, you can also subscribe to my newsletter at my website, adrianlove.com. The description of this video um, will have that the information of the website. And then lastly, that this is done for free by donation. If you feel called to make a donation, you can send a donation to at Adrian OB on Venmo, or at Adrian Dreams on PayPal. That your support is very welcome as I to support this being in our world. So with that, I send you a warm, warm wish for the rest of your day, wherever you may be, and look forward to the next time. Next week on Friday, there is no session. Let me just confirm that. Yes, next week on Friday, the 11th of July, there's no meditation. And then the plan is that there will be a meditation on the 18th of July. So that's that. Well, sending wishes for love and your aliveness as you are. And until next time, bye bye.